I was thinking today about this concept, the staircase versus the express elevator. I don't think that many of us have the idea that you're going to get in the express elevator to success, that you're going to suddenly magically get the golden ticket. You know, somebody's going to say, here, I anoint you, and tomorrow you'll have everything you want in your career. Whatever it is that you want, whether it's your own series or a studio feature or, you know, to write, direct, act in, whatever, that's magically going to happen overnight. But I think we sometimes get caught up in it a little bit. And by that I mean we start working on a project, whether we're writing, we're directing, we're acting, and we think, yeah, this will be the one. This will be the one that's going to launch me way up, not to the next level, but beyond. This is the one that's going to launch me into where I really want to be. This is going to be the one. And I think that we have to kind of be careful of that. And I think it really works on something that I like to call the stairway method, which is you do the work and you go up to the next level, just the next step. You go up to the next level, and then you work and work and work, and you go up to the next level. And you work at that level, and you go up to the next level. And sometimes you're not even aware that you have moved to another level. My husband works with a lot of actors, and he has started with a lot of these actors when they were just beginning in their career. One of my husband's clients, John Cawthron, who you probably have never heard of. I worked with him in one of my films called Dead Drop. He is a working journeyman actor. He has been working for years. I don't even know how many years. He's got an IMDb that's pages. He was in Boys in the Hood. He was in Black Snake Moan. He's been in, movies and TV shows and movies and TV shows, and you could see reruns of things and go, oh, there's John. You probably don't know who he is. And here I'm watching this show, Murder in the First, and it's like, oh, there's John. He's a series regular on Murder in the First. If you watch that show, you still may not know who he is. Still. Because he hasn't burst onto the scene. But I know who he is because I worked with him. And I'm like, oh, look, there's John. But he's known in the business. Casting directors and producers and directors know this guy as a really solid, talented, working actor. And he has been for all this time. It's just that, the general public doesn't know who he is. What I'm trying to, I think, get across is to not expect what I call the express elevator to the top. No one's here to give you a golden ticket. It's up to you, whatever your area of expertise, whether you're a writer, director, actor, it's up to you to do the work and keep steadily moving up in your career. It's a journey and not a sprint, knowing that if you do good work, you will move up. You will continue to move up. And then at some point, you actually may get the golden ticket. You may suddenly move several tiers at once. Somebody may say, look at you. Look at the great work you're doing. I like it. Come and play with us. But to expect to come to town and go, here I am, I want the golden ticket, I want the express elevator to the top, is to be filled with disappointment. I have a friend, a colleague, who is a filmmaker, who is the epitome of this, the very thing that I'm talking about. I used to work with him many, many years ago. He always expected the golden ticket, the golden key, the key card to the express elevator to the top. Someone would come along and say, I want to give you money to make one of your films. And he would say, great, and they'd start negotiating, and instead of him coming into the negotiation for money to make one movie, he'd say, I want to make a slate of movies. I think you should put up money to make a slate of movies. And instead of that happening, the money would go away and nothing would happen. And he had some TV shows, and he was selling a couple of his TV shows to an investment group. They liked them. They wanted to look at developing them. And instead of developing these TV shows and getting them going, he was like, I don't want to just develop these TV shows. I want my own network. And the whole deal went away. It's like, dude, do you not understand? You are killing the deal. These people are coming to you. The thing was, he's brilliant. He's brilliant, and he probably should have had his own network by now, or at least his own studio, or something like it, because he is brilliant. He's a brilliant writer. He's a brilliant filmmaker. He comes up with the most ahead of his time ideas. And the minute I saw him do that, like a couple of times, I went, oh, hello, I'm dealing with the wrong guy. I mean, yeah, I learned a lot from him, a lot of good stuff from him, and then I learned, you know what? I'm not going to be on your coattails anymore because I don't need this. I don't need to have every deal that I think I'm going to be a part of fall apart. So how about I just exit stage left and I'll go climb the stairs one step at a time by myself. It's very seductive when someone is so super confident and brilliant to back it up. You know, let's go there and say he is really brilliant and he can really back up that confidence. So it's not just all chutzpah. He really is brilliant enough to back all that confidence up that you go, wow, well, maybe he can really make this happen. And then, of course, it doesn't happen and it all falls apart. And then the first time you go, well, okay, maybe it just fell apart. You know, those things happen in Hollywood. And then it happens again and you're like, okay, maybe it doesn't just happen. It just happens for him. You know, when I was working, back in a former life, I was working with Peggy Fleming at Harrah's in Lake Tahoe. I was singing. I was one of the featured singers in her show. This was many moons ago. I was just a kid. So I was working at Harrah's in Lake Tahoe. And Harrah's, I don't know anymore because I haven't been to Harrah's in a long time. But they used to be like the most awesome company to work for. Because this wasn't the first time I'd ever worked at Harrah's in the main showroom. Because I'd opened for Bill, I'd opened for Bill Cosby, but not in Tahoe, in Reno. And I'd opened for Roy Clark in Tahoe. In Tahoe, they gave the headliner 2 places to stay. And you had your choice. And nobody was going to stay. If you chose one, the other place stayed empty, so you could go back and forth between either one. You either got the house on the lake, which, by the way, is the house in Godfather 2. That house in Godfather 2 on the lake. That's the house. Yeah. That house, which they called the Harrah House, or you got the penthouse at the hotel. So we did 2 months there with Peggy. So we had Thanksgiving dinner at the house, and we had Christmas party at the hotel, because she went back and forth, depending on how she was feeling, where she stayed. But I was the featured singer in the show, and I could not just go up to the penthouse. I didn't have the golden ticket. I couldn't just go in the elevator, the express elevator, and push the button and go. I had to be invited. This was not just because I'm in the show, I can just go. She had to invite the cast and crew. And we had to be given a special invitation to go to the penthouse. By the way, it's the top 2 floors of the whole hotel. The whole top 2 floors of the whole hotel. It's really nice. It's amazing. It is the most amazing suite you have ever seen. So you don't just barge in to the top. You have to be invited. And that's sort of the point here. You don't just say, here I am, Hollywood. I'm this awesome fill in the blank, actor, writer, director, producer. I'm coming to the top. I'm coming to the penthouse. You could try to take the express elevator to the top in Hollywood. Guess what? The doors won't open because you don't have an invitation. Doors won't open. Just like at Harrah's, you can take the elevator to the top, but the doors won't open. It's the same thing here. You have to be invited. And the only way you get invited is by doing the work. You got to do the work. And you take each step up the stairway at a time. And sooner or later, somebody's going to notice your work. If you're doing good work and you're climbing those steps, somebody's going to notice and they're going to invite you. And that's what you have to do. And if you love it, it's not a big deal to do it. You just do it because you love it. It's only hard if you don't love it. And if you don't love it, why are you doing it? Do something else. Find something that you love and do that.